Hare Hare oggi togliete the menu of spiritual master. As an ambassador is shown all respect due to his post. The spiritual master is respected as we would respect God, due to his function as a supreme Lord representative. The etiquette of honoring the spiritual master, however, is not dogmatic, social convention, like those prescribed on the political scene. The bona fide spiritual master is not an ordinary human being. His qualities are all transcendental to the modes of material nature, and that those equalities endears himself to his disciple and helps to develop their love for him and for Sri Krishna. Although how he does, this may not always be apparent. There are times when one can peep into the spiritual dimension and appreciate the spiritual master's uncommon nature. Such a circumstance occurred with Srila Prabhupada in Vrindavan on Janmasthami night, August 18, 1974. Srila Prabhupada was visibly ill, but he still insisted on greetings of Bhagwan and other dignitaries in the unfinished Krishna Balaram temple. Despite extreme inconvenience, Prabhupada spoke publicly that night and then returned to his room, barely able to walk without assistance. Not understanding Srila Prabhupada's fragile condition, while he was at the temple, I entered his room and placed my gift on his desk for his Vyas Pooja celebration the next day. When we returned to his room, I went into the garden and looked through Prabhupada's window, hoping to see him enjoy the gifts. Instead, when I saw, gripped my heart with fear. Srila Prabhupada had collapsed across his asana and lay with his head motionless against the pillow. He looked feverish and weak, with no strength to move. I quickly ran to tell Prabhupada's servant of his serious condition. The next day, Srila Prabhupada was too weak to attend his Vyas Pooja ceremony. All his disciples chanted and prayed for his recovery while going through the formalities of Vyasa Pooja. Srila Prabhupada was a person to whom we have given our life, the person who had given us life. Despite our deep love for Prabhupada, however, we could do nothing more than pray for him that day. 24-hour kirtan commenced in temples around the world as Srila Prabhupada's conditions worsened. Amazingly, despite Prabhupada's ill health, he dutifully sent letters to various devotees who have given him gifts and written homages for his Vyasa Pooja. We each received this letter from Srila Prabhupada. I'd like to thank you for your kind appreciation on the Vyasa Pooja day. Your sentiment are appreciated by me. It is stated by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. It is only by pleasing the spiritual master that one can be assured of pleasing Krishna. My only request to my disciples all over the world on this day is to go on pushing this movement with determination and sincerity, with the following the principles I have given you. I hope this leads you in good health. Your ever well-wisher, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. I venture to quote this letter, the Vyas Pooja Sutra, because it describes the essential meaning of Vyasa Pooja, our relationship with Srila Prabhupada, our service to him, and the ultimate goal of that service. In this year's Vyasa Pooja book, one will find innumerable offerings, but one will also sense an underlying theme, a thread of sentiment running through all of us. One of love and appreciation for Srila Prabhupada. From the incidents of Janmasthami and Vyasa Pooja in 1974, we learn just how determined and selfless Srila Prabhupada is, and why he is worshipable. Our debt to him is way beyond our ability to repay. Our Srila Prabhupada wrote in his Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya 7:138, purport. Each and every member of this society was rescued from a very abominable condition, but now they are engaged in preaching the cult of Krishna consciousness. Let us therefore keep pushing on this movement with determination and sincerity. Rigidly following the principles of Srila Prabhupada are given us to attain the goal of pleasing Krishna. A most unqualified, judge and foreign recipient of Prabhupada's causeless mercy. Let us seriously try to please him by following his instructions carefully. Devi Shakti Devi Dasi. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki!
For his wonderful discourse. And now we need to invite the devotees to read their heartfelt offering to Srila Prabhupada. And my country and the world offering to Srila Prabhupada. In the name of the Janmasthami Vyas Pooja of Felix, who is offering to Srila Prabhupada. This is happy that I am doing for the Prabhupada. The offering also is very important after the Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami ki Namani. Dear Srila Prabhupada, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to you and all glories to your ISKCON, to the glorious ISKCON. I would first of all like to thank you from the core of my heart for giving the world the gift of ISKCON. Wake up for ISKCON. I shudder at the thought of where I would be today. But staying within ISKCON also means to be careful in our dealings with the other souls who are also taking shelter of your ISKCON. I beg you, Srila Prabhupada, to always allow me to remember that my rightful position is to always be a servant of all the great souls who somehow or the other are connected with ISKCON. Dear Srila Prabhupada, in your Vyas Pooja offering to your Guru Maharaj, His Divine Grace Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj, you mentioned regarding observing Vyas Pooja that I quote, but simply a festival of flowers and fruits does not constitute worship. The one who serves the message of the Guru really worships him. And what is your message, Srila Prabhupada? You asked in the same Vyasa Pooja offering, I quote, our master said to preach, let the neophytes remain inside the temples and simply ring the bells. These were not theoretical words. Armed with full faith in the words of the Guru Maharaj, you set out alone, yet very boldly, on a preaching crusade. You had practically no material assets when you set sail to the US. You did not wait for favorable material conditions, wealth, buildings, followers. You started a global spiritual revolution simply by sitting under a tree with a pair of cars. I beg you, Srila Prabhupada, to always allow me to remember that doing the needful for preaching means to do it now, without waiting for favorable so-called material circumstances. Dear Srila Prabhupada, we have expertly extracted the essence of the Vedic literatures and provided very clear and yet very simple guidelines which will enable anyone following them to reap the highest possible spiritual benefit of achieving pure love of Krishna. I shall relate one anecdote depicting how simple is the process to achieve the highest benefit. Once in Amritsar, there was a convention organized by Mayavadis, and you were invited to participate. The discussions and presentations went on for several days, and you sent your disciples to participate and deliver the speeches. Then one day, while you were in your room near the conference hall, you could hear the unending discussions on the meaning of Aham Brahmasmi. The Mayavadis could not reach to a conclusion. At the same time, your servant brought in the prasadam, and you said, just see, they are laboring very hard, but cannot come to a conclusion, and I shall go back to Godhead simply by eating. Saying so, you popped a morsel of prasadam into your lotus mouth. Srila Prabhupada, what you have given the world is simply amazing. It is simply unimaginable. Simple things and daily chores are transformed into most powerful means to carry us to the highest spiritual realm, the Lord Vrindavan. Who, in the last century, has taught us that simply by eating, buying vegetables, cutting vegetables, cooking, serving, sweeping the floor, cleaning the house, cleaning the temple, doing menial maintenance works on temple property, reading books, distributing books, chanting, dancing, simply by doing these simple things for the pleasure of Krishna, who is pure devotee, is work. By doing these simple things regularly, sincerely, and in full faith, who was told that one can achieve all perfection simply by doing these simple things? I beg you, Srila Prabhupada, to only allow me to do some simple service in the glorious ISKCON. Yours, the servant of the servant, Hari Das.
My dearest Srila Prabhupada, on this auspicious day of your divine and glorious appearance day, Vyas Pooja, I humbly pay my personal obeisances unto your divine lotus feet, your divine floating lotus feet, which gives shelter to everyone who takes shelter unto the lotus feet. Today, while I enter the temple room and pay obeisances to your divine grace, there on your Vyasa was your photograph, not murti, not your murti, because it was already here for the functions. And on that photograph of paying my obeisances, I saw inscription where you, Srila Prabhupada, you are praying. You say, I pray to you so that you give me something like this. I read it as this, sorry. Praying for your mercy, so then I will be able to convince them about your message. I don't really know with whom you address that prayer to obtain that mercy, but to my heartfelt conviction, it could work both ways. One, to your divine spiritual master, Krishna, whom you took wholeheartedly his message entered your heart, deep rooted and stayed forever, and you gave the whole world Krishna consciousness. As Prabhu Mukunda, that Prabhu clearly mentioned earlier. This is one. And secondly, it could be, you could have addressed it to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna himself, to get the transcendental strength so that you will be able to preach and convince those who are not on that platform. And on the practical side, we are seeing, since you put those teaching of your Guru Maharaj by the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead as well, you are able to deliver those who took shelter of you, and it's going on through your divine body of ISKCON throughout the world by your mercy and by your very staunch and dedicated disciples, direct disciples of your divine grace. I've been very fortunate to be in contact with ISKCON for the last over 30 years, where I could see myself and of course my whole family transform what we were in so-called like religious or spiritual movements talking by demigod worship, going into the other process, studying Quran, Bible, attending the assembly of God, and so meditation, transcendental meditation, Shri Baba, and all this. When I tried to be a vegetarian twice, once for 6 months and once for 2 years, I failed. But as soon as after a few months joining ISKCON, I was convinced about your philosophy, as a philosophy enunciated by you in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam are given by your then direct disciple at that time, early age. I was convinced, and after my where I was deeply convinced is just by reading, by deeply reading the first copy I got. Back to Godhead at that time was sold at only 2 rupees. From cover to cover, I started reading that in my office, in the bus, coming home, and finishing it by midnight or over, and I was convinced. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
Day of your Vyas Pooja, I have some few thoughts that gathered in our mind through the course of this year, trying to practice some semblance of devotional service to your lotus feet. And by the mercy of your direct disciples who serve here, by the mercy of the other senior devotees whom we associate with, we had the opportunity to have some simple, humbling realizations that I'd like to share in your presence here with your wonderful followers. Sometime back, just reading through your books, my mind is contemplating on how great and how wonderful all the things that you have offered to us in this world. In Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita in Adilila, when in the chapter of the Advent of Lord Chaitanya, and in explaining the external reasons for the appearance of Lord Chaitanya, Krishna Das Goswami has explained the circumstances in which Lord Chaitanya appeared, and he explains that Acharya, he was looking at this status of spiritual culture in the material world at that time. So that's about 15th century, 1450. Lord Chaitanya appeared in 1486, so it must be a few years before the appearance of Lord Chaitanya. And Acharya, he was thinking that the general population that we engage in performing pious and impious activities, but he saw no trace of devotional service. So he was in great anxiety. Acharya being Mahavishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, he could have actually changed the status of things. But it required a very, very special circumstances, a very, very special incarnation, a very, very special process that was not in the grasp of even Mahavishnu. So therefore, Lord Mahavishnu, he looked further, and there Krishna Das Goswami explained there's a very beautiful quotation in that how do I actually change the circumstances, the difficult circumstances of lack of spiritual culture in the material world at that time. So then Acharya Prabhu, he started praying to Krishna. And how he started praying to Krishna? He started praying to Krishna by offering
Ganges water and tulsi leaf. Because Lord Krishna says in this beautiful Shastra that if one with pure heart offers me just Ganges water and tulsi leaf, I, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who owns everything in the world, have nothing in my possession that I can offer to a devotee offering me just simple Ganges water and tulsi leaf. And Krishna says, so therefore what I do, I offer myself, I sell myself. So Lord Mahavishnu, meditating on the strenuous, very difficult circumstances of lack of spiritual culture in the 15th century before the advent of Lord Chaitanya, he started praying to Krishna. And therefore, he actually forced Krishna, he obliged Krishna to appear, not just an incarnation of Mahavishnu, but the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna himself, had to appear just 500 years ago. Now if Lord...
Some are very excellent in acting, others graced with tenderness and simplicity. All are important, and part of one cause. Together we make this journey as a great family to the spiritual world. And the family is all about loving beings. Here's a short story to illustrate this point. A few years ago, Robin and his son attended therapy. JD was a chief master's sergeant at a local Air Force base. He was rigid and inflexible in nature, while his son Darren, who was 16 years old, with long hair and jagged furs, was laid back and had a full-of-the-flow attitude to life. JD wanted his son to change and rectify, which according to the rules of society had a right to demand as Darren's father. The problem was that this approach was not working. Instead, the relationship was deteriorating and given right to control. Unfortunately, after 2.5 weeks, the therapy session came to an abrupt end. As Darren was playing in a high school basketball game, his sport he loved, since childhood, suddenly collapsed and died. He had had a congenital heart defect since birth that had been undiagnosed. At the funeral, the father refused to cut the boy's hair and buried his son along with the undesirable clothes. On reflecting, he realized that he had wasted so much time and happiness in his obsessive need to be right and developing what was more important, nurturing the relationship. He only he could have done for one more day. As members of ISKCON's family, when we show each other support, it's so heartwarming, yet we fail at times because of our material desires. But despite our disqualifications, Srila Prabhupada is guiding us all. He overlooks our petty faults. He is most accommodating. Rather than judging and creating barriers, he allows us to develop our relationship with him based on love and trust. If he had been like Darren's father, demanding about perfection, people like me wouldn't have a chance to be here. His love for us is unconditional and exemplary. As he says so on, thank you, Srila Prabhupada, your granddaughter Srimati Dasan.
All glories to you, O merciful Master. Srila Prabhupada, service to your lotus feet is the perfection that fulfills all desires. Whoever serves you is given the opportunity of perfecting his life by returning to Lord Krishna's eternal abode. And of all those servants, Lord Krishna says, the preacher is most dear. Srila Prabhupada, you surpassed all devotees in bringing Krishna's message of Bhagavad Gita to the world. Our Sri Krishna Janmasthami celebrations all over the world are one simple testimony to that. You open the doors to Lord Krishna's home to everyone. We are your servants, Srila Prabhupada, and as such, our duty is not only to show others how wonderful the process of bhakti is, but also to take care of them, to nurture them, to engage them, to bring them always closer to your lotus feet, so that they never leave. You were so expert, Srila Prabhupada, in engaging others in such a way that they were inspired to do what is actually not humanly possible. You would see a spark in someone and you would fan it, and the result was amazing. When I read or hear about the early days, the accounts are mind-blowing. How the devotees sacrificed everything to serve you, how they lived in incredibly austere conditions, took risks, and stretched themselves beyond their own physical capabilities. Printing books in record time, distributing books by the thousands, opening centers in places that had never heard of Krishna. They did it all for you, Srila Prabhupada. Once, one of your dear disciples wrote to me that he was very afraid to offend devotees, even when chastising his own disciples, because he knew that they belonged to you and Krishna. Preaching not only means sharing what you have given us, but also to be careful not to turn persons who are attracted to your lotus feet, or who have taken shelter there, away from those magnanimous lotus feet. And to offend those persons is not only an offense to them, but an offense to you and Lord Krishna, to whom they belong. Srila Prabhupada, I know that I offend all the time. I try not to, but I do. Today, on this most auspicious day of your appearance, I fall at your beautiful, merciful lotus feet and beg for your guidance, so that I may never turn others away from your lotus feet, and that I may learn to care for and inspire others to take more and more shelter of your lotus feet, the perfection of all desires. Your eternally grateful and indebted servant, Purinipadasa. Srila Prabhupada ki
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vastaya Gopale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauranga Gocharani Sheshashan Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Alors cette année-ci, pour la grâce de Srila Prabhupada, nous avons chance d'assister aux GBC ILS meetings. Et là-bas, c'est un wonderful souls. By wonderful warriors, the Srila Prabhupada, and now the long time temple president of ISKCON, c'est Swaras Prabhu, depuis Los Angeles. Et pendant ces moments où tu as l'occasion pour on ça ensemble, discuter, etc. Alors une de nos discussions qui nous a avancé avec Charles Prabhu, c'est que il est temps que chez le Prabhupada le mouvement de notre dynamisme, de notre mouvement, de manière pour avancer dans le même pas qui quand chez le Prabhupada là. Il y a un regroupement dans des façons. Bien sûr, chez le Prabhupada, c'est un pied développé. Seulement un pied développé qui est dans sa shakti-là, qui est dans alors pour faire des mouvements avancés, un petit laps of time fait beaucoup de progrès. Mais en même temps, il y a une chose très basique. Il dit en fait, comment je le Prabhupada dit, everything is in his books. Toutes les choses qu'il est là, tout le message qu'il est là pour nous. Libérons ce livre. Nous simplement, et là pour suivre ce que je vais parler de nous. Ça nous donne le succès. Il continue de voir, il donne l'exemple, il y a un temps state, donc je fais une trouve chez la Prabhupada un powerful person, ISKCON un powerful movement. Alors je pensais que si moi, je peux join un powerful movement, nous aussi moving powerful. C'est même ça great down for Lhasa. Nous tous un humble soul. Si nous trouvons depuis billions and trillions of lifetime, nous pouvons essayer with un hero. Et ça coûte la reconnaissance comme le petit décollage qui avait. nous devenons zéro. Alors, les biens saints, nous tous, nous sortis dans différentes circonstances, différents environnements, différents upbringing. Quand nous joignons Krishna Consciousness, nous simplement ayons poursuivi, je ne parle pas de son instruction, tout est donné. Il donne tout 100% dans ce monde. Nous existons pour servir l'intelligence. Récemment, sur le Pérou, qui est une grande Maurice, il fait partage sur réalisation dans différentes places in la vie. Et déjà, il y a malgré tout ce français qui, je join Krishna Consciousness, je étudie, je ne change pas, je étudie, mais je ne pas faire service pratique. Et je pensais qu'il par étudier, je mène un diplôme, je garde un preacher. Mais normalement, devotional service est pas ça. Parce que de Bhagavad Gita, il dit, preacher, il est bien cher à ce Prabhupada. Alors, qu'est-ce que je fais? Quand je joins Krishna Consciousness, je te sens un petit peu malade, je fais un petit peu sadhana, je dis, à nous étudier, nous pouvons franchir l'étape, un seul de convenir, powerful preacher. C'est un sacrement meilleur. Alors, je ne parle pas quand il crée ISKCON dans son personnel life, et aussi bien quand il établit ISKCON, il finit toujours prendre comme un humble servant of his Guru Maharaj. In his holiness, Virat Maharaj, bien souvent, il donne ça l'exemple-là, qui je ne parle pas de lui, qui nous, comme preacher, nous position n'est pas plus pareil comme un postman. Je ne parle pas de nous à instruction-là, Prabhupada gagne ça avec ce gourou gagne ça avec le gourou gagne ça avec ce gourou, jusqu'à nous commencer depuis Krishna. Alors nous venons de voir, nous prenons de Srila Prabhupada, nous donnons ça, nous sommes parlés as a humble postman. Alors dans ça, jour où ce Vyas Pooja de Srila Prabhupada, on peut reminder moi-même de sa service, de l'instruction de Srila Prabhupada, comment nous avons prendre à l'instruction-là, in a humble way, render humble service, et là nous allons servir Srila Prabhupada et ISKCON Vyas. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vitam tam sajivam sadvaitam sarvabhutam Vande